Okay, so I have several objectives in mind for this video. One objective is to provide additional requirements with respect to answering the questions for item 1 in this graded orientation. So when you fill out online forms like this for the class, you will see that question 1 as the subheading for that item, but I call that item 1. So when I say item 1 in this video or any other videos for step 6 of the orientation, I'm referring to what is labeled as question 1 here. Another objective I have in mind with this video is for you to see how important it is for you to follow all and any videos carefully and attentively when attempting to complete some or many of the graded items in this course. This entails yet another objective, and that is to demonstrate how important it is to read through everything on a given bundle or course page. That is to make sure that you don't miss any video-based lectures, video-based demonstrations, or video-based instructions that go with what is in writing with respect to any written lessons, written lectures, or written instructions. So with that, let's get started. If you have not done so, go ahead and read about the big picture that I have in mind with respect to this first graded item for orientation step 6. And when I say read about the big picture, I am talking about this information here. Go ahead and pause the video and read this information if you have not yet done so. Otherwise, I will continue. All right, so to iterate, and assuming that you did read that information, I do want to see the deployment of basic writing skills. Make sure you refrain from texting conventions, slang, etc. Now let's look at the questions below and get specific details on how I want you to develop your responses. So by the questions below, I am talking about these questions right here. So one of the things that I want to stress is that this particular item for this particular task for this particular bundle is not an essay, but it is still a writing task. You will write your answers to the bulleted questions in complete sentences. In the remainder of this video, I will tell you what to elaborate on and how many sentences in terms of a minimum to write in responding to said questions. By the way, whenever I give you a sentence number, please don't think that I'm just interested in numbers of sentences. That would be too superficial. What I'm doing is I'm giving you a minimum for trying to make a passing grade or a passing score with respect to a particular item. When I give you sentence numbers, again, that's a minimum and not necessarily a maximum. The point of giving you a minimum number of sentences is to make it more likely than not that you give me enough details and that you have adequately developed an answer. So the real goal with giving you sentence numbers has to do with more important, more substantive objectives I have in mind when you are responding to a given prompt question or whatnot. And that has to do with being precise, being exact, giving enough details when you respond to something, and then connected to that very closely is adequately developing, teasing out enough information and ideas in responding to a given question or prompt. Okay, so let me go ahead and give you a strategy before we proceed with the questions and my expectations and whatnot. And that is, you could take notes while following the remainder of this video with respect to each of the questions and what exactly I want you to do with each question, and then respond to all the questions. But what I'm going to recommend is that you take notes while watching all of the video for just this set of questions, and then write your response, and then take notes while following this part of the video, and then write your response. Of course, you could break it down even further. You could watch the video until I stop talking about the question, what is your major? And then you could write your response to that. Then you could watch the video to see what I want you to say in response to why is that your major? And then, write your response to that. In any case, please make sure you do follow the rest of the video, because I will be giving you sentence, minimum sentence numbers in responding to each question, as well as additional missing information that I am looking for, or that I think you should include with respect to answering each question, and that I will definitely be looking for. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at paragraph, what I'm going to call the first paragraph. So this will be one paragraph, and this here will be another paragraph. This paragraph is I would like for you to use this question as a subheading for this paragraph. So you'll just copy this sentence right here. Where are you in your academic journey? If you prefer, you can change this a little bit to say, where am I in my academic journey? So in order to answer this question, I have provided 3 bulleted questions. You do not need to write, and I don't expect you to write, and probably you shouldn't attempt to write a separate answer just for this question here. These questions are there to help you, or here to help you answer this overall organizing question, if you will. This is basically your topic, and these are the questions that you use to answer this bigger question. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the first question. This one's the most straightforward. I don't have a lot to say about this one. What is your major? You'll write a minimum, of course, of 1 sentence. One thing that I will want you to do throughout the semester whenever I give you a question or a prompt is to incorporate as much of the question or prompt stem or wording as you can in your response to make it really clear when you're answering a given question or prompt. So that would be a good note to take, like maybe if you're writing general notes throughout this orientations of things to remember. It's always important to incorporate question stems, prompt stems, wording into your responses. I like this because it makes it really clear when you are addressing a particular question, stem, or aspect of a prompt. And I'll remind you of that throughout the semester. So that means that when you answer this question, you will incorporate, there's not a lot to incorporate, right? But you will incorporate at least the word major. So you'll start off like, my major is. If you're not sure what your major is, you still need to show that you gave attention to the question. So you can say, I'm not sure what my major is yet. Or you can say, I'm thinking that I will major in, but I am not sure yet. Okay, so then that's all there is for that one, really. So then remember, this is a paragraph. So that your next sentence will focus on, why is that your major? If you say that you're not sure what your major is, then for this question, you will focus on why it is that you have not yet decided on a major. Why do you have doubt, or why are you lacking certainty, or why have you not made a decision about your major yet? If you have stated a major, then of course you're going to elaborate on the why you have chosen or decided to pursue the major or declare the major that you have. For this part, for the second question, I am going to want at least 2 sentences that shed light on the why, as I said, you have chosen that major. Make sure that you incorporate, the word major from this question stem. So you can say, this is my major because, there's the end of the sentence, furthermore because, or, continue elaborating and whatnot. Or, you would say, I'm not sure what my major is, period. The reason why I'm not sure. So you get an idea of how you would do this. All right, so now we're going to move on to the third question for this paragraph, and that is, how many courses or hours have you taken? So you can focus on how many courses you have, enrolled in, and you can focus on hours. Now, you need to write at least 1 sentence, and if you see me looking upward this way, it's because I'm looking at my notes. So one mistake that students make or have made with response to this question is they just say, I'm not sure. So I don't want to see that kind of answer. Can you at least give me a guess or an estimate? So of course you could go and look at your transcript if you have a comprehensive transcript, or if you have several transcripts, if you've already completed courses, or you can at least guesstimate. So if you've been in school and a student full-time for 4 semesters, 16-week semesters, chances are you have completed 16 classes. So you could say that 16 courses, 16 classes, or if you know how many hours is associated with each of those, let's say you've completed 16 courses, each one is worth 3 credits. So that would be about 48 credits. So that's the kind of information that you will need to provide there. And you can just give me 1 sentence for that. Now, when I read your answers to the questions that I just went over, that is for right here, I should see them presented in a paragraph form, not a list of sentences or short answer. I should also see coherence. It should be easy to follow your point from one claim, idea, or statement to the next one. Your responses to each of the bulleted questions should come off as compelling, engaged, right? I want to see you engage with the question. The one that's going to need the most engagement is the second one. These are more kind of like your responses to the first and third bullet. They're kind of more trivial factoids, but I would like to really see you getting into this one. So the minimum, again, is 2 sentences, but I'm going to encourage you to write as many as 3 or 4 sentences, but not more than that. What else do I want to say? That is all I have for that part of this item in step 6 of this orientation. All right, so now let's go ahead. Now I recommend, if you have not done so, pausing the video and writing your response, and then maybe even listening to the video again for these questions here to make sure that you did not miss anything. All right, so now let's get to this question set right here. So this will be the beginning of a new paragraph. I'd like for you to copy and paste this or just retype this question as your subheading for this paragraph. What are some things you have going on in your life beyond the class? And really what I should have said here is beyond this class. That is beyond this very class that for which you are listening to this video. So the first question I have is how, to help you answer this question, right? This is just a subheading, an overall focusing question. You're responding to these to answer this one. So how many other courses are you taking this semester while taking this very course? Okay, so you need to be, exact. So tell me I'm taking 1 other course, I'm taking 3 other courses, I'm taking 2 other courses. But I would also, so that would be 1 sentence. So again, incorporating the question stem. And by the way, I forgot to tell you or remind you here, going back to, let's go back here real quick. Here you would say, I have completed, 5 courses, or I have completed, you can see that I've incorporated the word completed and courses into the answer in those example sentences. So here you would say something like, including the question stem or whatnot. This, you could say, I am taking X number of courses while taking this very course. You see how you just turned that into a period? Okay, so that's 1 sentence. All right, so literally you just copy as much as you can from the question stem and turn it into a statement. Now that said, one thing I haven't touched on is you still have to pay attention to grammar and syntax. It's not always possible to take all or most of a question stem or prompt exactly as is worded. Sometimes you have to tweak it for the grammar or the syntax to make sense. By syntax, you should know what I mean because you read about that prior to, while reading about the big picture for this. Okay, and by the way, this is giving you a good sense of how we will be working together through written instructions and video-based instructions to help you through a task. The more you do, the more you'll get used to this and know what is expected, but I'll always provide particular updated requirements for a given topic or whatnot. Okay, so now we're not done with this first question, okay? I would also like for you to tell me what the other courses are. So you can tell me stuff like, I'm taking an English, I'm taking a history, or you can say I'm taking English 1301, I'm taking history 2302, stuff like that. So if you say you're taking 3 courses in addition to this one, then I'll know that you're taking 4 courses, that you're a full-time student. But I also want to know the names of the other courses. Since I already know what the name of this course is, there's no need to say that. So there'll be at least a 2nd sentence here. If you are taking only this course, then I would like for you to comment on why you are taking only this course this semester. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not having to justify or explain to yourself. But like I said in the big picture, when you read about that, I'm trying to appreciate what all you have going on in life, why you are taking this course, why you're taking only this course, what is affecting you outside of this course that may impact your performance in this course. So if you are taking only this course, I would be interested in knowing in a sentence or 2. And so I'd like for you to comment on that. All right, so next question. Are you responsible for the care of any children, siblings, parents, elders, non-human animals, aka pets? So I would like at least 1 sentence, again, incorporate the word stem. So you might say, I am responsible for children, period. Of course, that would be 1 sentence. Then you need to elaborate. Help me appreciate that responsibility. If you're responsible for any children, are they your children, your sister's children? I worked with 2 sisters who were taking care of a 3rd sister's toddler and child while helping that child do online virtual learning. So if you've got stuff like that going on, let me know. How many kids do you have? What are their ages? This will just help me appreciate much more what all are the demands in your own personal life that are going on. Maybe you take care of a grandparent. Maybe you take care of a sibling that has, schizophrenia that needs a lot of your time or whatnot. I'm giving you actual examples of stuff that students have told me about. Others have told me that, they have to watch siblings because their parents work 2 or 3 jobs. And of course, I know some of you are very devoted to pets, and so you can let me know about how much time. Now, pets cannot be used as an excuse of any kind. And, that is a choice to have one, but I am interested in knowing if that's true of you. So do make sure that you do respond to this question. If you are not responsible for the care of children, siblings, parents, elders, or non-human animals, I still need you to show me that you took note of this question. So what you'll do is simply say, I am not responsible for, and copy the rest of that sentence. Do I want to say anything else about that? No. Okay. So next, the question is, will you be working or are you planning to work while taking this class? I would like at least one sentence in responding to this question. So yes or no, I will not be working, blah, blah, blah. So additional information. Okay, so this is very important. I'm going to go over three options with respect to elaborating on the question I just went over. So listen to all 3 to see which one is relevant to you. So the main question that I'm now dealing with is still, will you be working with or are you planning to work while taking this class? So is this you? If you are not working while taking this course, do you plan to find a job? So answer that question in a sentence, okay? So if you do plan to find a job, how many hours will you work? Answer that question, okay? Incorporate the words from that question. How will you manage the added stress of a job to your academic pursuits? Again, another sentence using the words from that question to respond to said question, okay? So if you are not working while taking this course and you do plan to find a job, then you do have some additional questions that I've just given you, and you do need to write a sentence for at least each one. If you are not working while taking this course, okay, and you don't plan to find a job, so again, if you are not working while taking this course and you do not plan to find a job, is this the result? Sorry, I got a little bit distracted there. Is this the result of a choice you have made? Please explain. Write at least 2 sentences, incorporate the question that we just went over, incorporate the wording, the phrases, stem into your answer. So again, if you are not working while taking this course and you don't plan to find a job, you don't plan to work, I want to know if this is a result of a choice that you have made, and please explain on why you're not working. Again, it's not that you have to justify or explain yourself. I'm just trying to appreciate where you're coming from, what has led you to be in this course, and all the context and all the factors and variables of your life that might somehow impact your ability to do well in this course. So I'm trying to develop some kind of understanding of you. All right, so now here's another option. If you are working, if you currently have a job, okay, or if you are working, how would you describe the stress and demands of your job? So if you are working, start off by telling me, hold on. If you are working, you want to start off by telling me, one thing I forgot to ask you is, how many hours will you be working each week from 1/19 to 5/14? Give me an estimate. So if you are working, start off with the sentence. Well, and actually I realize I've got 2, so let me back up. The first question I ask is, how would you describe the demands of your job? So just at least a sentence or 2. Don't just say it would be stressful. Say it would be stressful because, it'd be very stressful. It's not very stressful. It's somewhat stressful. That's okay, but it's kind of like a black and white answer. So then I would need you to also have a sentence that tells me why you would describe your job as somewhat stressful, not stressful at all, very stressful, okay? Then I would like for you to add a sentence that tells me how many hours you will be working each week. Again, estimate. If you're not sure, because maybe you have a new job or your situation changes all the time, your weekly schedule, then just say that. So again, make sure that if this is you, you are working, right? Then let me know how many hours a week you'll be working. Tell me also, what is it that you will be doing for work? Do you work more than one job? Answer all of these questions. Okay, so look, we're getting to the end of this item. So now the question is, do you have any other commitments not yet covered in the questions above? So maybe there are other things. So I'm thinking like maybe you have a responsibility in your church, in your neighborhood, maybe you belong to a social political organization or nonprofit. Let me know, how many hours do you dedicate to that? Is that stressful, and whatnot. And then even if that does not apply to you, I still want to see that you gave attention to the question, so you can say, I do not have any other commitments not yet covered in the questions you gave us. Or if you do, you can say, yes, I have another commitment I would like for you to know about, and it is blah, blah, blah. If you do have other commitments, but you don't want to talk about them, you can say that. You can say, I do have other commitments not yet covered in my responses to your other questions, but I choose not to discuss it. And then here again, is there anything else you would like for me to know about you? So some examples here might include like, are you on dialysis? Do you have to make time each week to get your treatment? Do you have a child with autism or some other kind of disability who requires weekly visits with the therapist? Do you have food insecurity? I mean, is there anything else that you would like for me to know about you that you have not covered that may be stressful to you, challenge you, or anything like that? If not, then again, just say, no, there's nothing else that I would like for you to know about me. But if there is, I would appreciate knowing so that I can fully appreciate where you're coming from and whatnot. So again, as with the other set of questions, when I read your answers to the questions above, the ones that we just went over, I should see them presented in paragraph form, not a list of sentences or short answers. I should also see coherence. It should be easy to follow your point from one claim, idea, statement to the next one. Your responses should come off as coherent, engaged responses to the bulleted questions. Now, I have one more thing to say overall. So as you have seen, okay, in virtue of following this video, I have given you additional requirements with respect to answering the questions presented for paragraph construction for item 1 of step 6 of this orientation. It was important, or will have been important, to follow all of this video carefully and attentively to construct the kind of response I'm looking for in this task. It was important, therefore, it was also important for you to make sure that you read everything I wrote for item 1. And so let's go back up here. If you just went to the big picture or straight to the questions, right, at first, or somebody does that, they may miss the fact that they're supposed to start with an instructional video. So be very careful and make sure you're switching to slow thinking when you get to this class, and make sure that you read through every single thing that I write or type up, especially when it comes to making sure that you capture videos in this class. I use a lot of videos, and sometimes, and almost always, they're nested within a sentence. So I could have a video link in the middle of a sentence, at the beginning of a sentence, or at the end of the sentence. So that's why it's so important to read through everything that I write. We saw this in item 1, and this will be the case throughout the semester. Now, I'm not saying I post a video or create videos for each and every single task or component of a task, but I do create a lot of videos. Weekly, you will have at least one video to watch, if not more. So yes, you did see how important it was, now that you've gone through this video, to make sure that you read everything and get the video instructions. The video-based portion of the instructions for this particular item were covered. The video covers stuff that is not covered in writing, so missing requirements and whatnot. Keep all of this in mind as we, continue through the course and work through more complex questions and more complex tasks.